What's up, guys? It's your boy Darkskin, and today we are going to be doing my tier list for the game. Now, I released the video originally going over what characters you should go for depending on what class you want to play. Like, if you want to be a healer, you should go for Coco and Zero, or if you want to be a tank player, you should go for Huma and Merrell. Now, this is going to be my tier list of like how the characters overall play with each other. Not necessarily going for classes, just independencies. I guess. Well, not super independent, but like basically how they function with each other in the game to a degree, something like that. So, anyways, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about that and everything, so you guys could understand and know exactly how I'm thinking about these characters. So, starting off, we're gonna go with Coco. Now, if you guys don't know, Coco is a healer, and being one of two healers in the game. As far as right now, she stands out better than Zero because she basically is more like a pure healer, whereas Zero is more of like a shield buff kind of support. He's not going to be healing as much as Coco. So Coco's definitely going to be better, especially early on right now. And there's no other healers and characters like that in the game. Once you get into some of the other healers and things like Lyra or whatever the case may be, she may go up or down depending. But as far as right now, she is A. Now, moving on to Crow. And I want to preface this because I said this in my other video too. Crow is a character that, depending on how much you've invested in him and depending on like how much you have learned the character, he can be very good or very bad, right? So, because like, a lot of people talk about, Crow's investments, and it's like, oh, well, he's S tier if you have him to, 3rd star, or, oh, he's B tier if you don't have him to any stars. A lot of people talk about, one-tricking him as a character because he has a lot of different mechanics and combinations that you want to be using on him to get the most out of his character. Right, so he could technically be S, A, B depending, but for the vast majority of people that are playing casually or don't have a lot of dupes and investment into him, I would say that he is B tier. So as far as everything like that, there he. We could put we'll put him A tier. We'll put him A tier because, like I said, depending on how you use him, investment and everything, he could be S, A, or B. So there you go. Now, moving on to Huma. Huma is a little bit tankier, a little bit more of a tankier tank than Merrell. Merrell's more of a little more of aggressive. And if we're talking specifically just the character and how they interact with other characters, we're not talking about like raids or grouping or anything like that. Huma would be B tier on the scale of other characters, right? I really like Huma. I actually have her, but yeah, on the scale of all the characters and everything like that, there are a lot of better options, especially if you're playing by yourself. So yeah, even in a team, if you're playing by yourself, having a tank, especially a tank that's that tanky, is not going to be near as good. Moving on to King. Obviously S tier. The reason why is because not only is he one of the best shield breakers in the game, right? Merrell's also really good, but he is a DPS. And not only is he a DPS, he actually does a lot of damage. He has a really good weapon. His weapon options are really, really good as well. Not to mention he is on the debatably best team. Well, not really debatable, but he is on the best team coming out the game right now. So very, very insane character, and I'll talk more about the best team in a little bit, and so you guys can understand exactly why I'm saying this. Moving on to Merrell. Merrell is going to be A tier. Reason being is, yes, she is a tank, but like I said, she's more of like a bruiser. She's a little bit more of an aggressive tank than a defensive tank like Huma. She is also one of the best shield breakers in the game. The only difference between the two is that King is a DPS and his weapon does more damage. Now, I'm going to talk, and like I said, I'm going to talk about like the team aspect in a little bit, as far as like your team builds, because this, there's a big difference on why King is up here and Merrell's down there. Moving on to Nemesis. Nemesis is S tier, and the reason why she's S tier is because not only is she a part of the best team, not only does she have the lightning resonance with the best weapon, but she does a lot of damage on top of with her resonance, she's going to be doing even more damage. On top of, she's technically a healer, so she does have a lot of sustain, right? Really, really good unit. And like I said, partnering her with the next character I'm going to be talking about, Samir, it just becomes even more insane, right? And if, as you guys know, Samir is the best DPS in the game. She has lightning pistols, and then you add her with Nemesis, and Nemesis has a resonance that does increased damage whenever there's 2 lightning users on the team. Samir's going to be doing even more damage, and then you apply her, or you apply them with King, who is a shield breaker, and then Samir and everybody's going to be doing even more damage. Not to mention the team chemistry of having 2 DPSs and then a healer. Not only are you going to be dishing out more damage from the 2 DPS passive, but you now have a healer on the team that can keep your team, you know, maxed out on HP, keep them sustained. So going back to Merrell, let's say we put Merrell on this team with Nemesis Samir. We no longer have the DPS passive. It would be DPS, you know, tank healer passive, which is not going to give near as much damage. So for that reason, that's why King is a lot better, because you know, you look at the best team in the game and it has King, Samir, DPS, then it has Nemesis as the healer with the resonance to Samir. So if anybody wants to know or why everybody's been saying this is like the best 3 units to have, this is the best team in the game right now, is because of that, right? You're going to be dishing out the most damage possible with that team. Not to mention, you will still have sustainability with your Nemesis healing and everything like that. So there you guys go as far as that. Moving on to Shiro. So this is the thing, chat. You gotta realize there are 2 supports in the game, there's 2 tanks in the game, there's 5 DPS in the game, and then with the limited banner Nemesis, there is 3 healers in the game, right? So the fact that there's 5 DPSs, y'all have got to understand that a lot of DPSs are going to fall down the ladder, right? So in my personal opinion, and I know a lot of people might not like this, but as far as characters go, and as far as like your team comp can go and things like that, like I said, I'm not talking about, you know, raids or anything like that, but I'm talking about like 3-man teams and how characters interact with each other. Shiro is C tier, and the reason why I say this is because she does have shield breaking potential. You know, you get a lot of her chakrams bouncing off the walls. She can burst down a shield, but that is already a limited situation. Not to mention, why would you need to do that specifically when Merrell literally just breaks shields for free, when King literally breaks shields for free? And then you got to realize we have 3 DPS characters in S and A rank. So and it's like with King's Samir, no contest. You know, and then even looking at Crow, depending on how much you invest in him and how you play with him, he can potentially be S tier. That's going to be knocking Shiro way down to C tier. And you don't have to have shield breaking potential necessarily with Shiro, but the thing about this is, if Samir is the best DPS in the game, Samir needs a shield breaker. So if you're not the best shield breaker, you're going to be lower on the tier list, and that's just how it is. Moving on to Tsubasa. Tsubasa is B tier, and the reason why Tsubasa is B tier, she's also a DPS. Tsubasa is the best ranged character in the game as far as right now. So she kind of has a spot that nobody else can take. You know, that along with her dash attacks, she's going to be dishing out quite a lot of damage. And let's say you wanted to run, you know, let's say you had Samir but you pulled Merrell, right? You can run Tsubasa on that team, and now you have the 2 DPS passive, you have a ranged character, and instead of having a healer, you have a tank on the team, right? So that's going to be really, really good. So let's say you don't pull King, you pulled Merrell or Tsubasa. You could just get Samir and Merrell, and now you have pretty much the same team as the top team, except instead of a healer, you have a tank, and instead of a DPS shield breaker, you have a tank shield breaker. But that would be probably one of the, you know, 2nd or 3rd best teams you could build if you didn't have King. So, you know, Samir, Merrell, Tsubasa is a really, really good team for you to use. And like I said, the only reason why she's B tier is because for DPSs, there's 3 DPS above her already. So there you go. Moving on to Zero. Zero is going to be B tier as well. Now, this is primarily talking about open world, you know, and everything like that, because if we're talking about PvP, once he starts shielding is going to be a lot better than healing, because you're shielding before you take the damage, number one. Number two, he doesn't heal as much as Coco, right? He's more of a shielder buffer opposed to like a pure healer. So in that regard, Coco is going to be a lot better here. But once we get later into the game and we get later into the meta and we get more into PvP, this tier list will change quite a bit. So I just want to let you guys know that now. I'm not going to be doing any of the other characters because the other characters are aren't in the game yet or anything. But like I said, you can use any character you want. Shiro is an amazing character. She still works. I've watched a lot of different Shiro videos. It's not like she doesn't do damage or anything, but if we're talking about just me playing the game, what 3 characters I would want to take as far as the tier list goes, this would be the tier list. Shiro would be the last pick for me as far as, you know, those characters. Like I said, I'm not talking about taking into account raids and world bosses and playing with 20 other characters. I'm talking about you just playing on your own. This is the tier list. So anyways, that is going to be it for this video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment down below, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. That being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.